The old truck groaned and rattled, its wheels struggling against the muddy track that cut deep into the Colombian jungle. Every bump sent a jolt through my spine, a stark reminder that I was leaving the familiar world behind. The air grew thick and heavy, filled with the scent of damp earth and unseen blossoms. I stared out at the endless green canopy, a wall of life that seemed both beautiful and menacing. This was it. There was no turning back now. I had come here seeking a challenge, a way to test my limits, but the raw, untamed power of this place was already beginning to feel overwhelming. A mix of excitement and pure, undiluted fear churned in my stomach. This wasn't just a training course. It was a journey into the wild heart of survival itself. As the truck shuddered to a halt, the sharp, guttural shouts of instructors cut through the jungle's hum. We were herded out into a clearing, the humidity instantly clinging to my skin like a second layer. The training camp, known informally as Hell's Gate, was little more than a collection of rustic wooden barracks surrounded by a formidable perimeter fence. It looked less like a military base and more like a place designed to break you down piece by piece. The instructors, with their stone-faced expressions and imposing presence, sized us up. Their eyes held no warmth, only an intense fire that promised hardship. They saw us not as men, but as raw material to be molded or discarded. My heart pounded a frantic rhythm against my ribs. We were ordered to line up, our civilian bags thrown into a heap to be forgotten. An instructor, his face etched with the lines of countless campaigns, walked down the line, his gaze piercing. "Welcome to the jungle," he growled, his voice low and dangerous. "Here, you will forget your names. You will forget your past. You will forget comfort. The jungle will be your mother and your father. It will feed you and it will try to kill you. Your survival depends on one thing and one thing only, your will." His words hung in the oppressive air, a heavy promise of the ordeal that lay ahead. I swallowed hard, the initial thrill of adventure now replaced by a chilling realization of the immense task before me. In that first hour, we were stripped of our identities. We were given numbers and uniforms, our individuality erased. My name was gone, replaced by a designation shouted with impersonal force. We were handed rucksacks that felt as if they were filled with rocks, the straps digging into my shoulders immediately. The weight was a constant, brutal reminder of our new reality. This bag, this burden, would be my closest companion for the foreseeable future. As I adjusted the straps, I looked around at the faces of the other recruits, a mixture of bravado, anxiety, and quiet determination. We were all strangers, but in that moment, we were united by a shared sense of dread and a flicker of hope. Our days began long before the sun even considered rising. The shriek of a whistle at 4 a.m. was our alarm clock, a brutal sound that ripped us from the shallow sleep we managed to find. There was no time for grogginess. We had mere minutes to plunge into icy river water, the shock a violent jolt to the system that left you gasping for air. This was our morning shower, a cruel but effective way to banish any lingering weakness. From there, it was straight into grueling physical training. Push-ups in the mud, sit-ups on uneven ground, and long runs with our heavy rucksacks, all while the instructor's roars echoed in our ears, pushing us past what we thought were our limits. Every muscle screamed in protest. The training was relentless, designed to simulate the harshest conditions of combat. We learned to navigate through dense, unforgiving jungle with only a compass and a map. The terrain was our enemy. We scrambled up steep, muddy slopes, the ground giving way beneath our feet. We waded through chest-deep swamps, leeches clinging to our skin and unseen creatures brushing against our legs in the murky water. The weather was just as brutal. One moment, the tropical sun would beat down, threatening to cook us alive. The next, the heavens would open, drenching us in a torrential downpour that turned the world into a blur of green and brown. There was no shelter, no respite, only the command to keep moving forward. Food was not a pleasure, it was fuel, and it was scarce. We ate what the jungle provided: grubs, insects, strange fruits. We learned to identify what was edible and what was poison. Hunger became a constant companion, a dull ache in the pit of my stomach that never truly went away. There were times I would have given anything for a simple piece of bread. This harsh diet was a lesson in itself, teaching us that the will to survive can make you overcome your deepest revulsions. It taught us to be resourceful, to see the world not as a place of comfort, but as a pantry of possibilities if you knew where to look. It was a primal existence, stripping away all modern softness. The nights offered little relief. Sleep came in short, exhausted bursts, often interrupted by surprise drills or the unsettling sounds of the nocturnal jungle. We slept on hard wooden bunks or sometimes on the damp ground itself, our wet clothes clinging to our bodies. Exhaustion was a physical weight, a fog that settled over my mind and made even simple tasks feel monumental. Yet, even in that state of near total depletion, we had to remain vigilant. The training was as much a mental game as a physical one. It was about learning to function, to fight, to think, when your body and mind are screaming for you to stop and give up. Fear was a constant presence, a cold knot that lived in my gut. It was the fear of failure, the fear of injury, and the simple, primal fear of the jungle itself. I felt it most acutely during the night navigation exercises. Alone in the pitch-black darkness, with only the rustle of leaves and the calls of unknown animals for company, my imagination ran wild. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat. Every sound was a potential danger. My heart hammered against my ribs, and a voice in my head would whisper, "You can't do this. You're not strong enough." It was a battle not just against the environment, but against the doubt that was trying to take root in my soul. There were moments of hope, too, small sparks of light in the oppressive darkness. They came in unexpected forms, a shared look of understanding with another recruit after completing a punishing task. The rare, quiet praise from an instructor after a drill was executed perfectly. The incredible feeling of watching the sunrise from a peak you thought you'd never reach, the jungle sprawling beneath you like a vast green ocean. These small victories were lifelines. They reminded me that I was still human, that I was capable, and that there was a purpose to all this suffering. They fueled my determination and gave me the strength to face another day, another challenge, another seemingly impossible demand. My body was a canvas of pain. My muscles ached with a deep, relentless throb. My feet were covered in blisters, my hands were raw and calloused, and my skin was a roadmap of scratches and insect bites. The physical toll was immense, but the mental exhaustion was even worse. It felt like a heavy fog had settled over my brain, making it hard to think clearly. The constant stress, the lack of sleep, and the sheer physical exertion wore me down to a nub. I became quiet, withdrawn, focusing all my remaining energy on just putting one foot in front of the other. The vibrant, confident man who had arrived at the camp felt like a distant memory. The lowest point came during a multi-day trek through the mountains. We had been marching for what felt like an eternity, weighed down by our gear, soaked by constant rain, and weakened by hunger. My body was screaming, and my spirit was starting to crack. I remember stumbling and falling, my face pressing into the cold, wet mud. For a long moment, I just lay there. The thought of getting up, of lifting that heavy pack and continuing, felt utterly impossible. A wave of despair washed over me. I'm done, I thought. I can't go on. The whisper of doubt had become a roar, and for the first time I truly believed I was going to quit. Lying there in the mud, with the rain pouring down on my back, I was at my absolute limit. The desire to just give in, to say the words I quit, was overwhelming. But then, something shifted. I thought about why I had come here. I thought about the man I wanted to be, not someone who gives up when things get tough, but someone who finds strength in adversity. I heard the faint sounds of my squad mates struggling onward just ahead of me. I wasn't just doing this for myself. I was part of a team. Slowly, Painfully, I pushed myself up. My arms trembled, my legs felt like lead, but I got to my feet. That single act of defiance against my own exhaustion was my turning point. That moment taught me the most profound lesson of the entire experience. Our limits are often not where we think they are. The human spirit has a reserve of strength that we can only access when we are pushed to the very edge. I learned that true toughness isn't about being immune to pain or fear. It's about feeling all of it. The exhaustion, the doubt, the despair, and choosing to take one more step anyway. It's about finding that inner fire when all you feel is cold and empty. The jungle didn't just teach me how to survive. It taught me the incredible power of perseverance and the unbreakable will that lies dormant within all of us. When I finally left that camp, I was not the same person who had arrived. I was leaner, harder, and covered in scars, but the changes went far deeper than the surface. The jungle had stripped away my ego, my fears, and my preconceived notions of my own capabilities. It had broken me down and then rebuilt me into someone stronger, more resilient, and more humble. I had faced the worst of myself in that jungle, my fear, my weakness, my doubt, and I had overcome it. That knowledge gave me a quiet confidence that no easy success ever could. I had stared into the abyss and found the strength to climb back out. This brutal training was one of the most important experiences of my life. It was more than just learning to tie knots or find food. It was a journey into the core of my own character. It taught me that comfort is a luxury, not a necessity, and that real growth happens outside our comfort zones. The pain, the hunger, and the exhaustion were the price of admission for a deeper understanding of myself. I learned that I am capable of enduring far more than I ever imagined. That experience forged a resilience in me that has become the bedrock of who I am today. I survived, yes, but more than that, I learned how to truly live.